Prepare the binding by inserting the piping cord into the center of the bias binding. Move the needle over to the left so it sits close to the piping. With your prepared piping, you now want to put it onto the right side of the pocket. Now place the lining over the top, turn the pocket over and pin it into place. And we're doing it from this side because we can actually see our previous stitching line. So when we do this pocket, the piping will be encased perfectly. Now cut back the seam allowance, turn your pocket inside out. You can see the beautiful piping now, can't you? And iron it. I would iron both sides. And now you've got the option to either gather across the front, or if you are doing it like my pattern suggests, there are two snips that you just put on top of each other and you create a mini box pleat. So you sew for about 1 centimeter. Open out your box pleat. You can pin it or just leave it as it is, and then you want to attach the wider of the bias strips that is in the pattern, and you sew it to the wrong side of the pocket first, which is the lining side. 1 centimeter seam allowance. You might want to cut back that seam allowance a bit, but it should just fit perfectly. Turn in the ends and pin them into place. The key of this pinning is to pin it so it's just covering your previous stitch line. And when we are sewing across that in a minute, it'll just hit right underneath the binding on the wrong side, so the pocket is as beautiful from the inside as it is from the outside. Try to top stitch very close to the edge. And there you can see how beautiful that looks. All you have to do now is to make the bow. Next we're going to position our pockets onto the front piece. So I fold it over and the lining is on top of the shell piece, and I get rid of the hem as well. Position my bow where I want it, place the other bow right sides facing down, then face the other front over the top and simply put a few pins in there so that you can hold it in place. Flip it back and you can see they're now in exactly the right position. Now I can pin them properly. Now on the front you can see that you can tip it inwards a bit so the pocket comes out a bit, and then you just put a pin on either side to make sure that it stays in place, and then you can stitch either straight on the pocket or in between the piping and the upper shell fabric.